In this video, I want to show you what database normalization is. We're going to use Excel as an example, and then we're going to use an invoice application that we're going to quickly make as an example to show how it works in its simplest form. So when you're making an invoice, your database would probably have an ID column. Let's say invoice date, invoice number. Let's expand all the columns. Probably have customer name, customer, then it'll have product, quantity, and the price. So let's change this into a table. Click anywhere inside the data, Control T. Table has got headers, click OK. Make sure always the same procedure. Check all the columns have got the correct data type. So this one will be a number, round number. This one will be date. Date. Make it easy to read format. Invoice number will be a round number. Customer will be text. Product will be text. Quantity will be a round number again. The price will be currency. Make it rand, like for here in South Africa. So let's put a couple of items in as an example. ID1, let's say 2/18/23 date. Let's just expand this a bit so you can see better. Invoice number 10678. Customer, let's say customer name 10. Let's say product 11. Say 10. Price, let's say 105 Rand 67. Right, let's make another invoice. So now we're gonna make a second invoice. Let's say it's 19th of February 23, 10679. Let's say it's a customer 23, just any random customer name. Let's say product 12. Let's just change this a bit. Product 12. Let's say 20. Let's say 110 Rand 68. Let's add some more items to this invoice. So let's go and copy the header down, because this will be the header part of our item. Header part of our invoice, sorry, not item. Just add we got any random products, any random prices name. Alright, so this will be your database that's not normalized, or it's not normalized. It should be done in the database. So to normalize it, what you do, anything that's a duplicate, basically you take out. So you can see here, the customer name is duplicated. So what you do, you take this out first. You need to remove the duplicates. So you take this column, Control Copy, paste special values, remove the duplicates. Then we give each one a number, like 1, 2. So let's quickly go and make this into a table. Control T. It hasn't got headers. Let's give it headers. ID, customer, Let's call it customer ID. Customer ID. Customer. Make sure the data types are right. Control 1. Number. Text. Control 1. Text. Give this table a name. It's going to be called customer. Give all these a number now. So that customer 10 is number 1. And customer 23 is number 2. Okay, let's copy this down. Change our header to this header here. Control copy. Paste special values. Make this into a number now. Control 1. Number. No decimal places. Let's just change this to the correct format here. Convert to number. So there's our first part of our normalization. So now the next part of the normalization will be the product, because this can have its, it can also, how can I explain, your transaction table must just be numbers and dates if possible. So this will be your transaction table, this will be your lookup table. So let's create another lookup table for product. Let's just change these colors. Let's make this color orange. This one we keep is blue. Let's change it back. This one blue. Get this back here. Blue. Alright, so now next part of our normalization, as we said, is the product table. So product ID. Product. Right, so we've got all these are unique, so we can copy them. Control, paste special values. So these lookup tables only want unique values here, only unique, but you understand later what I'm saying. So we just enter following numbers. Control L, Control T to make a table. Let's make this color green. Give it a name, table design, product. Replace give this the same name, control copy, paste special values. So this one starts from 1, 1, 2. Let's copy it down. Change it to values. Convert to number, control 1 just to make sure the data type's right. Number, no digits. Click OK. So now we're starting to look good with our normalization. There's only numbers and dates in our transaction table. Excuse me. Alright, so now the next part of the normalization will be to make a header for this table here. So we call it our header, our invoice header, because we're making invoice here. So the invoice header will be the date, the invoice number, and the customer ID. So let's copy that here. Let's copy this portion over here. Control copy. Control V. Alright, so now let's see, we've got here, let's just maximize all the columns. Alright, so now let's quickly give this let's change this color here. Pivot, table design. Let's change it to a table, Control T, Control L, whichever one you want. We make it, let's make it a yellow. Table design. Let's see. Let's just quickly do this over. delete this. Just quickly delete these rows here, just get this right. Okay, let's copy the header portion of our invoice again. So it's going to be the date, the invoice number, the customer ID. Right, so we take this, control copy, paste special values, change to a table, control L, click OK. Let's make the color, let's see here, that yellow, that's yellow. Let's name this invoice header, table design, invoice header. Okay, let's change the color because it doesn't, I don't think it's very clear on the video, these headings. So let's change the color, let's to a more readable color. Let's see. Okay, that also doesn't look very readable. Let's try another color. Let's see. Let's try this orange. Have we got orange? We've got orange. Okay, that's alright. Alright, so now what you do, let's quickly go and widen this, maximize this column. So now the same thing with the header. Let's just change the formats. Control 1, number, no decimal places. Control 1, date, to readable date. This we want to be whole numbers. 1 number, whole number. Right, so now we can replace anything that's duplicate with a number from here. Remove the duplicates in this table. So what we do, all these ones here we can remove. Right click, delete table rows. So now we're going to replace all these. This will be invoice header ID. Let's name this here invoice header ID. Right, for copy, let's move it to here, paste special values. Okay, so this one's invoice header 1 and this one's invoice header 2. Copy, format, got your number, control 1, number, no digits, no decimal places. Can remove this now because it's part of the header. So there's our normalized table. This is going to be our actual invoice. So let's rename this table. This will be our invoice. Okay, so now we've got our invoice, our transaction table. We've got our lookup tables, the customers, the list of the customers, the list of the products, the list of the invoice headers. So now the next thing now is to go and load these to our Power Query and merge them and then put it to our database, our Power Pivot, and then create our invoice from there. So let's go and do that. Let's go and load each table to the Power Query. Let me just make sure everything's right here. Let's go, that's fine. So let's go click inside any table, data, queries and connections. Click again, data from table range. We named our table in the sheet, so it's named correctly here, so that's correct. The data types are all the right data types. So we can close and load this, close and load. Only create connection. Click OK. Do the same for our customers. Anywhere inside the table, data from table range. customer. We're happy with the data type. Close and load to. Only create connection. Click OK. Same for the product. Data from table range. Data types are correct. Close and load to. Only create connection. Click OK. The last one now, our invoice header. Data from table range. We're not happy with this type. We want it to be date. Right click, change type, excuse me, date, add new step. Okay, so we've got our 4 tables. Let's close and load this to connection only. Only create connection, click OK. So all 4 are normalized tables are now in our database Power Query ready for merging. So let's go and do that now. Click anyone, edit. Choose our transaction table. Merge queries. Merge queries as new. We want our invoice header ID to be linked to our invoice header. The invoice header, the same column. So we click OK. Right, we want to further merge the customer. So merge queries, same table. Now we want the header. Okay, we've got the header. Let's go and do the product. Product on the product ID. Click OK. Alright, so now we've got, let's see, we've got our product, we've got our invoice header. Let's go and expand. We don't need these ID columns. We've done the product. So we can go and delete this. Remove. Let's see here what you've got. Alright. So let's go and expand these 2 columns. Expand this. We don't need the ID. We want the date. We want the invoice number. We want the customer ID because we haven't done that merging yet. We want the product. We only want the product column from that. Alright, so what do we need to merge now still? We need to merge the invoice header. Right. Merge queries. Invoice header. Invoice header. Invoice header. Click OK. We don't need the invoice header ID. Right click, remove. Go and expand our merged table. Invoice date, invoice number. Click OK. Let's see, everything look okay. Let's check quickly here. Alright. So the product, let's rename the product. Rename product. Invoice date. Rename this. Invoice date. Rename this column. See, invoice date already exists. Okay, so we don't need this column. Remove. Invoice number. We don't need this column. Remove. So we've got our product, invoice number, invoice date, price. Now we need our customer. Okay, so we need to merge the customer. So let's go and quickly merge. Merge queries. Customer ID, customer table, customer ID column, the same columns. Click OK. Remove the customer ID column. expand the customer column. We only want the customer name. Rename the column. Alright, so let's go and just get our things a little bit organized. So we want, let's see, the invoice date, I think we'd rather have near the beginning. Move it over. The invoice number we'll have also next to the invoice date. The customer, the header part, so the header part of our invoice. Now we move to the beginning, so this is the header. The customer, the invoice date, the invoice number, then the items, the quantity, the price, and the product. So let's move the product to before the quantity. Alright, so now we want to calculate, this will be the amount before that. Rename amount before that. Now I want to have amount with that. Okay, we first want to have the total quantity times the amount before that. So let's go and add a column, custom column. This will be the total. This will be the quantity times the amount before that. Click OK. Okay, let's see the type. Change type. We want a decimal number. So let's rename as total excluding VAT. Total excluding VAT. Total excluding VAT. Now I want the VAT amount. So let's go and add column, custom column. The VAT. This will be the amount before the total excluding VAT times 15%. Click OK. Wrong type. Rename. Change type. Decimal number. I want the total including VAT. Custom column. Total including VAT. It will be amount, let's see, total excluding VAT plus the VAT. Click OK. Change the type. Decimal number. Now we can, okay, before we add it to our database, our backend database, let's rename this invoices. Alright, so we've got nice structure now. We've got the, everything merged together, and now the invoice ready to be moved to our Power Pivot database backend. So let's go and add this one. Home, close and load to. We want to add it to the, only create connection, add it to the data model. Click OK. Wait for it to load, it's busy loading. Let's go and look at our data model. Power Pivot, manage. There our merge table is loaded to our data. You can see the diagram view. This is our merge table with all the columns we need to create an invoice. And it's been normalized. So what we're going to do now, we're going to create a flattened pivot table. Flattened pivot table, new worksheet. Let's rename this worksheet invoices. Rename invoices. Let's rename our original sheet with all our tables. Let's just call them, let's see, just anything, just tables. Let's see. Let's go and insert our pivot table. So we're always gonna choose by invoice number. So add a slicer. There are two invoice numbers. Let's go and create our invoice further. Invoice number. Let's make these a little bit bigger. Home. Right, that looks a bit better. Let's just do some adjustments. Pivot table. Let's just right click inside the pivot table. Pivot table options. No auto fit. Right, let's do our next step. Let's say we want the invoice number, we want the invoice date. Click enable. Let's see, we only want the active table we're working with. We want the invoice date. Take out the invoice number. Expand the column. Let's just format this to a nice date. Date. Right, what else do we need? We want the customer name. For copy. Let's see, active. We want the customer name. So let's go and choose the customer. Right, so we're gonna, let's say we want the wording to be invoice 2. Alright, so we've got our invoice is starting to take shape. It adjusts according to the number you choose. You can see it adjusts. So let's go and do our next step. Let's get the actual body of the invoice. Control copy. So for this, we're going to need the product. We want the quantity. We want the total excluding VAT. The VAT. The total including VAT. Right, let's go and just expand the columns we need to expand. This will be amount excluding VAT. Amount excluding VAT. This will be the VAT. This will be amount including VAT. Right, let's go and auto fit all the columns. Okay, let's just move these to the edge of the cell, home. Right, so we're taking our invoice is taking shape. So now the final thing on the invoice, let's just move this so it looks a bit better at the last column. Alright, so if we click our active. Right, let me just close this quickly to show you something. So as we choose our invoice, it's working now. Okay, the only thing we want to do now, we want to make these currency. But let's first go and do another adjustment. Let's quickly go and copy this pivot table, control copy. We want our total down here. So let's go and pivot table, analyze, field list. We don't need this row, we don't need this row. We only want these 3 columns, so let's go and put them in the right place. Let's just move it to the right area. Okay, let's just quickly rename this. Control copy. Paste special values. Oh, let's just quickly put it in here. Oh no, that's fine, it's done. Okay, amount including VAT. Let's just quickly rename this. Control copy. Control V. Paste special values, that's all they do. Alright, let's just type it in. Amount including VAT. This is auto fit all the columns to see where we are. Alright, so this one needs to move over one across more. Let's just quickly Control X, Control V. Alright, so we want these currencies to be changed. So let's quickly go and change this. We want these to be value field settings number format, currency. This one as well. Value field settings, number format, currency. Okay, so this one's got currency, this one's got currency, this one we need to change the currency. Value field settings, number format, currency. Click OK. Okay, these ones we also need to do. Quickly change that. Value field settings, number format, currency. Click OK. This one. Value field settings, number format, currency. Click OK. Click OK. This one, same thing. Value field settings, number format, currency. Click OK. Right, our invoice is taking shape now. Let me just minimize it so you can see a bit better. So if all the items change because of doing proper database normalization. So you can see now, if we want to go and add a new invoice, so the first thing you do, you update your invoice header. So we want to make another invoice. So now we're going to insert the next sequential number. Okay, this will be, let's say, today's date. Always must be the next invoice number. The customer, let's say we want to put another customer here, 3. So let's just generate a random customer name. So we want customer ID 3. Alright, so now we've got our invoice header, so it's number 3. So we're going to put 3. We're going to make two items there with a product. Let's say we want product number 1 and product number 2. And we're going to say 100 and 200. We're going to make 150, 170. We just add the next sequential numbers here. Next invoice is done. So if we go back, let's just cancel it. If we go back to our invoices, so if I refresh, invoice 10680 will come out on this invoice here. So data, refresh all. Give it a bit of time. So there 10680. Remember we had 100 and 200. So there the next invoice is created. So you can see, so once your invoice system is set up, you don't have to do it again now. We can forever make invoices here using a system, and you can move these tables, you know, to suit you better, your own individual needs. And if you want to move these around as you need. So as I keep saying, this is all database normalization. Then your systems work properly, set up once, can be used forever. So now if you want to, let's say you want to create an invoice header for your invoice. Let's just quickly create a print area, page layout, print area, set print area. Let's just make sure it's one page. Okay. So now we go to page layout, print titles. Let's say you want to say customer header, your company name. Let's put it, let's move this at the edge here. Your company name. Okay, let's make this a bit bigger. Let's make it about 24. Let's go and see what our invoice looks like now. Print preview. Okay, you can see now that our company, we need to move the body of the invoice slightly lower. So let's move it lower. So now you've got more space, your company name's there. So let's go and see, let's go and print the invoice and see what it looks like. So far your invoice, this is what your invoice will look like. It's taking shape now. So it's got your company name. If we want to put a logo here, your company logo, let's just check any example, customer header. Let's go and select a little logo. Let's see, where's a logo I can choose. Let's quickly go here. Click OK. Right, there we've got our logo on our invoice. So there's our whole invoicing system now ready to be used, and you can generate automatic reports as well. So let's go and make one more invoice. Let's see how many invoices we can fit here, how many items we can fit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's make about 10 items. So our next invoice 10681 falls this here. So let's go and make another invoice. Start with your header for same date. Next invoice number 10681. Let's take customer 3, the same customer again. So it's customer 3. Let's just say each one of these products. Let's go and add a few more products. So we need space. So let's move this up. Let's go and add some more products. So let's take about 10 of these products. Let's see how many we've got here. Let's take 10. Control copy. So it will be this. Control copy. These products we're going to invoice. It's all on the same invoice. Just put the next sequential numbers in. Random values. Right, so 10681 is done now. So 10681 should fill this whole area here. If we click data, let's go data, refresh all. Right. So there we've got our latest invoice. Let's quickly just move this down here. Because it needs a bit more space. Alright, 10679, 10680. I just made a mistake. Let's see the invoice number. 10681. It's number 4. So it should be number 4. So let's go and start here where we did our invoice. Number 3. Let's make this number 4. Customer invoice header number 4. Let's go data refresh. 10681 should come up here. Right, so if I click 10681, there was that latest invoice we made. So there are all our invoices ready to be invoiced. Control print. That invoice can be printed. Control print. Print that invoice. That last one you made. Control print. Print the invoice. And this little system, because it's properly normalized, can handle millions of invoices, with no problem at all. And it can be expanded, to handle payment allocations and everything. So you have a whole invoice system, effective invoice system with self-generating reports, professional invoices, because of data normalization. So that's all for this video. If you like what you see, click the like button below, subscribe to receive future videos, and thank you for watching.